All right, so I wanted to just real quick sort of impromptu little video here. I wanted to turn on my camera and talk about a topic that every single one of us faces as we're learning how to play guitar, play any instrument. Actually, this is not limited to just guitar. But I got an email from somebody this morning and it made me think to do this. So I'll try and keep this brief and offer solutions. But here's the scenario. You practice at home, you learn how to improvise, you've got a few scales, you've got some things down that sound pretty good when it's just you by yourself. You're playing along with jam tracks, you're playing along with whatever favorite song that you've got. But then you get out in public, you're in like a blues jam or you're jamming with a buddy or something, and you forget it all. It's as if you don't know anything. You become like a complete moron with guitar, and it's the most horrible feeling because you've invested years of your life and your soul and everything and your joy, everything that you put so much into this. We put a lot of work into learning how to improvise. It's learning how to speak another language. You get in front of somebody else or in front of a group of people and you just forget how to do it. And that happens to everybody. So the first thing I want to say is, this is a video that we can all relate to, and I don't see enough of this topic covered, but it's true. It doesn't matter how good you are, how long you've been doing it. It happens to everybody. It happens to me all the time. Probably half the time that I play, I walk away feeling like defeated, like I don't know what I'm doing. And then the other half, I think, I was on fire that time. And it's just, I never know which time's going to happen. And, so anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about, because if you haven't experienced that yet, you will. And it's an awful feeling, and it's almost depressing. You just sort of walk away like, oh, am I wasting my time? And so I've noticed a few patterns, and there actually are some things you can do to overcome that. So that we'll talk about that. But basically, the first thing that I thought about, and like, why is that happening? If you analyze the situation, it's like going into a recording session and somebody says, you've got one take, that's it. And you've got an audience watching you. So basically that's what it is. You're playing something, and a lot of times there's camera phones sort of waving around, so oh God, this is going to be, out there on Instagram or somewhere, who knows. I'm talking about if you're at in a bar at an open mic or some kind of a blues jam or something like that. A little more formal setting. You do see those. You see cameras. No matter how small of a venue, I always see cameras out there, and it always makes me a little bit nervous. I don't know where that's going. But anyway, you get one take. And you got to get it right. And that's a lot of pressure for anybody. Even a seasoned session player would have a little bit of anxiety knowing you get one shot at this. But that's the truth of that situation. So that's why it's happening. It's like the one take thing. It's not like you can say, wait, time out. Let's do that again. You don't get that. And so there's all that pressure. And then there's this pressure that we put on ourselves. There's this little internal dialogue that you're having with yourself where you say, well, okay, I'm going to try and really impress somebody, or I'm going to try and impress myself. Because I've been working really hard on this scale or this little idea, this phrase or something. I'm going to work it in, and you just can't do it. It just doesn't. But you can do some things, like you can go back to a few basic sort of pentatonic licks or something. But then when you try and, play out of the box or play anything that's slightly more advanced, you just sort of fall apart. But anyway, the first thing I wanted to just say is that happens to everybody. Don't worry if that's happening to you. It's totally normal. In fact, it's kind of expected at some point. You experience that. So what can you do? There's two things I thought of that can really help you with this. And one of these two things I've done many times myself, and this really helps. So the first thing is you have to record yourself. So grab your iPhone, grab your, whatever smartphone, whatever recording device you've got. Everybody's got one now. And record yourself playing along with either a jam track, song on Spotify, whatever you've got, whatever you like to jam to. Record it. You get one shot though. You don't get to do it over and over again. You do it once. So here's how you're going to do this. You're going to record yourself. You're going to start the song, and you're going to play all the way till the end of the song. So whatever your little thing is, maybe you're trying to complement the music, maybe you're trying to just solo over everybody. I don't know what you're trying to do there. Maybe you're trying to work on a certain phrase or something, but you start the song, you end the song, and you play the entire song. And when the song's over, you stop recording. You walk away from it, and you don't listen to it. And so you have to wait. Okay, I'm going to put this like an hour. This is sort of arbitrary, but just wait an hour, at least an hour, and then come back and listen to it. And I'll bet it sounds better than maybe you thought it was. There would probably be some things you think, well, that's kind of clever. I didn't think I was doing that. So that's one thing. That's one little bonus. Maybe not all of it sounds good, but there will be parts that you kind of like. So it's probably not as bad as you think. After an hour, you can do that again. You can go through the same process again and try it again. Same song, but you always have to wait an hour in between. And that's kind of creating that one take shot that you get. So that's you're simulating that. I've only got, I've got to make this work. So I get one try at it, and then I have to wait an hour. So it's just sort of a little hurdle that you have to create for yourself, but I think that's a good one. So that's the first thing that you can do, and that helps. What it does is it shines a light on the problem areas. So you can, and plus you're documenting it by recording it. So you can go back and listen to it and go, oh yeah, wow, I need to work on that. So that's one thing. And you don't know that when you're just casually playing by yourself. It just doesn't come out. You don't have that pressure. And so anyway, that's the first thing. The second thing is keep your phrasing simple. I can't stress this one enough. I've done so many videos on this topic. In fact, I don't know them. Oh, well, I'll put something up on the screen as I'm saying this. I'll put something up on this topic, but because I've covered this a lot of the time, you have the entire fretboard, and we have phrases, we have arpeggios, we have scales, we have chord shapes, we have triads, we have all this stuff that we learn. And a lot of the time what happens is, because you're nervous, you want to showcase all this stuff that you've got. So maybe I'll do a triad, maybe I'll go into this, and it just becomes like information overload for your own brain, and you sort of fall apart. You don't have to think that way. You have to think of it like just a simple phrase like BB King. That's the first thing that popped into my head. BB King. Why do we love BB? There's a lot of reasons for it, but one of the reasons, and I love BB's playing, was the simplicity and the elegance of what he can do with just a few notes. I mean, he's kind of like a master craftsman at that, just taking a few notes and, improvising these beautiful little elegant phrases. He's not jamming all over the neck. He's just locked into his little area. Now, he can do that. He can play over the neck, and he does at points, but that's what I'm saying, is just like a little simple phrase. So think simple. Don't try and go through all your bag of tricks. Just take a little idea, think like a singer, and think simple, like where you have to take breaths, just like you're singing. So you play a little thing, take a breath. That also gives you time to, think of something else or another phrase. So you're not rushing it. You're just sort of keeping it simple. I think it's those two things that can really expand that. It's okay to just repeat yourself. Maybe that's a third thing. I just sort of popped in my head there. But you don't have to always be reinventing, or coming up with something new. You can take an idea and you can go over it and over it. And I think a lot of the greats do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just take an idea and in fact, one technique I hear a lot of great players do is they'll take a little riff and they'll repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. It kind of gets the audience sort of worked up. And probably what's going on is they're trying to think of the next thing while they're doing that. You're on autopilot while that's happening. So anyway, that's kind of maybe a little third idea. But just the whole point of this is to say it's okay if you walk away from a jam with another person or another group of people and feel like you're totally defeated. That's normal. And it doesn't mean that you're not on the right path. It just means you just had a bad night. And a lot of the times that bad night isn't as bad as you think. If you could go back and listen to it somehow, it's probably not as bad as you have it in your head. But there's some times when I'll walk away from a jam and I'll feel like I was on fire and like, yeah, that was great. Or just a song even. But then you can turn around 2 songs later and feel like I fall apart. I don't know where I'm at. It happens to everybody. So anyway, I hope that's been encouraging for you. Leave a comment, let me know, or let us all know kind of what's going on, if you're experiencing that, or some things that you've done to help overcome those nervous hurdles. Anyway, that's what we have for this video. We'll see you in the next one.